Okay, what is up, YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook? This is GOAT Talk Only with the GOATcast podcast crew. I'm CW, joined by our usual suspect, my man Sports Talk Only. How you doing tonight, Sports Talk?
I'm all right, man. Just having a little, I'm having a
Look,
little situation going on right now. That's why
oh,
I'm on
okay.
mute.
Well,
But
well,
I'm
if
still
something you got
here.
to handle, let us know.
Oh no,
Okay,
I still do the show.
okay. Well, you know, okay. And once again, he was joining us Wednesday, and he's back. My man King Speech Row, we appreciate you coming out. Now, I gotta say, my Wi-Fi is a little bit off. We're having that snowstorm right now, so bear with me
Okay.
if I start going out a little bit. But yeah, King Speech, what's going on?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Really appreciate the opportunity to be up here, man. I like to run my mouth, so here we go.
Yeah,
Especially about
we
sports.
enjoy it. We enjoy
Yeah.
that impromptu Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant debate you had a little
Oh man,
earlier.
yeah, that got crazy, but yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
discussion,
I
though.
shared that
Definitely a good
impromptu.
discussion.
Yeah. And uh no shout out to my man Casual. I'm gonna post up. I think it's already in the comment section. So if you come in the comments, I linked his Discord. So go over there because they debate nearly every single day. That's
Damn,
just
man,
a good time.
I'll be
Good
like a
time.
kid in the candy store over there. I'll be a kid in the
Oh,
candy
yeah.
store because I love the debate, bro.
Yeah. Well,
I
make sure
love
you
the debate.
download
Always.
Discord and click that link so you can join.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I downloaded Discord. I'm gonna wind up get going in there and seeing what it's like. Cause I know my guys at Nick Fan TV, they do it. I know they're gonna have a crazy post game show tonight. Shout out to everybody doing anything on YouTube, man, for real.
yeah, I mean the Knicks they taking it on the chin tonight. The Thunder they trying to gather themselves after that Cleveland game.
Yeah, if you see, I changed my avatar. I put the Carl Anthony Town quote up there, because I know Tibbs is catching a lot of heat, and I was trying to say I'll give Tibbs I give him heat for a different reason. Like I don't think he wears players out. What I do think he does is keep the team too predictable. And OKC read us like a book tonight, without even seeing much of the game. I saw like little chops and bits and pieces of it, but I could tell OKC just had us scouted out tonight, and that's probably what happened.
Well, we feel for you tonight as a Knicks fan.
On to like I said, you know what it is. On to the next one. Milwaukee on Milwaukee on
You
Sunday.
just gotta regroup and be ready to go.
That's it.
But
That's
tonight
the
we
nature of
have
this business.
our big topic is the top 5 NBA playoff performers of all time. Um, we're not gonna. Well, I'm not going to deep dive too much, but I think most of ours will probably overlap some. But yeah, I'm not gonna. You can go as deep as you want to, but I think we'll be saying some of the same stats, some of the same things
Mhm.
going on. But before we do
Mhm.
that, we here like to talk about who the goats are. So we want my man King Speech, and this is his first time on Goat Talk only to give us his top 5 players of all time. So if you don't mind, just let us know who your top 5 in the NBA all time is.
Oh, so this is just top five overall or top five playoff performance?
Yeah, well, for now we want your top 5 all time, like regular season anytime, and then we'll
Got
get
it.
your
Got it.
top
Got
5.
it. Got it. So, and I'm a, I'm one of these old heads. I know a lot of, I know I see a lot of top fives without these three in it. And I think it's kind of, it's really, I always say study your history. I've been studying the history of the game from 1946 up until now. Back, I remember my grandfather had a 1987 almanac, and that's when I like studied it. I know that the first superstar was Jumping Joe Folks. The most dominant player, George Mikan, right? So my top five, based on history, and it's really been that since, is Michael Jordan number one, number two, Wilt Chamberlain, number three, Bill Russell, number four, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and number five, my favorite player of all time, Magic Johnson. Honorable mentions: Kobe, Bird, and LeBron. Shaq. That and rounding out my top 10 would be Akeem Olajuwon. So, and if I ever got a chance to like explain my criteria for GOATs, for greatest of all time, it's a really consistent. People will make their GOATs. A lot of people got Mike 1, LeBron 2, Kobe 3, or Mike 1, Kobe 2, LeBron 3. There's certain criteria that I put into it, where number two all time is Wilt Chamberlain, and people say he's not a winner, but when you look at it, there's a lot to Wilt's story that people don't understand. How the league basically changed rules so he wouldn't dominate. They changed rules when he was in high school, so he wouldn't make a mockery of the league. That's how good he was. When you look at the fact that he owns 60% of the NBA record book, and considering like blocks and certain stats weren't even available when he played, they weren't even counted. Like if they had blocks and steals, Wilt Chamberlain would be up there. I know what people will say. The Wilt played against a bunch of 6-footers. Not a fact. I know people will say he played against an 8-team league. So what? That means only the 80 best players in the world played in the NBA at the time, meaning now you got 600 guys in the league. He played against 80. Combined, if it was just the 80 best players in the NBA with 8 teams, I mean, considering the racism, the travel, not having the equipment, Wilt Chamberlain was the most, and honestly, Wilt Chamberlain has the most concise argument and why Jordan is not the GOAT. And he said it to Jordan's face at the 1997 All-Star game, where they had the 1996-97 All-Star game, where they did the 50 greatest, the 50th anniversary. He said, listen, Mike, you're great and all, but they make rules to help you. They made rules to hold me back. So, and Mike said, oh, whoa, when he made that point, I couldn't even talk no more. I couldn't even talk no more. This was trash talk from the GOATs to the GOATs. You got Magic in that room. You got Kareem in that room. You got Bill Russell in that room. Larry Joe Bird in that room. You talking about the best players and trash talkers of all time in that room. And Wilt dropped the mic. Okay, so Wilt is my number 2. Bill Russell, the greatest winner in the history of American sports. You're talking about, go back to high school where he won state champions. You're talking about a guy who won 32 NCAAs with K.C. Jones at San Francisco, 11 and 13 years in the NBA, a gold medal. I mean, and again, played in a racist Boston team, a town that didn't even appreciate him. 11 championships in 13 years, 2 and 3 in college. I mean, the greatest winner in the history of American sports is not even close. Bill Russell's my number 3. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, another one. Go back to Power Memorial, go to the UCLA where he won 3 championships, and then 6 in the pros. Obviously in the 70s, he won the one with Milwaukee. He won the one with Milwaukee. Then he had kind of a doldrums. The Milwaukee fell off after Oscar Robertson. He was traded to the Lakers. Took him a couple of years to get to back to that championship level. Then we got Magic Johnson. The rest is history. Showtime. 5 more MVP, Finals MVP at the age of 38. I mean, great. Can't his resume might be. I mean, him and Wilt might have the 2 best resumes. But then then I have at number 5, Magic Johnson. The reason why I love the sport, the winner. I maintain that Magic Johnson, to this day, is the only player. I mean, like the player that I think you could put him on any team. And they say this about LeBron, but that's been proven false, right? Because a couple of LeBron's recent teams did not win. They didn't even win 40 games. I feel that you could put Magic Johnson in his prime and on any team, and they will instantly be a 50-win team. Like take the worst team, take a 20-win team. Magic Johnson, you put him on that team, that they're going to find a way to win 50 games. And never lost. We got to 9 finals in 12 years. We all know why he had to retire early. But just an out-and-out winner. I mean, go back and look at the 1985 playoffs. That assist to turnover ratio. I mean, he had 11 assists in every game in the playoffs. He had 21 and 1. I mean, I think he averaged 15 assists a game that year. I mean, he's the person I bottle my own personal game out. I would hope that I could do half the passes Magic could do. I'm a pretty good passer. If you ever play ball with me, I got a very good court vision, but Magic is definitely definitely top 5. So that rounds my top 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your top 5, we got Mike, we got Wilt, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 4, and Magic 5. So Sports Talk, do you have anything to interject with that top 5 if you're listening?
That's his top 5. I don't really have nothing to say about it.
Okay. I want some smoke on it. Listen, I want some smoke on it. I know people that like who they like. Again, I think I'm pretty fair when I do my top all time. I look at a lot of things. I look at the historical context. I look at how did you dominate the league? Were you the best player in the league? For how long?
Mm-hmm.
You know, all of that goes into it. You know, so.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's actually no wrong answer because this is our opinion, so we can't say that you're wrong.
Like I always say,
yeah, exactly. So so that's an interesting top 5. So now we're going to move into our top 5 performers of all time, playoff performers of all time. We're going to do this kind of a snake style. Each of us will tell our number 5, give any information you want to give on that. And then, we'll keep it moving. So because he's been, he hasn't said much, and hopefully he's not over there at the Kingdom, where they're talking their stuff. But Sports Talk, who is your number 5 playoff performer of all time?
Tim Duncan. He's number 5. You want me to break down why?
Duncan. Or? Okay.
So
any specific reason why Tim Duncan is?
Rank,
if you want to, you don't have to.
But, when I'm going into this, when I rank guys, I look at where they rank statistically in the playoffs. I look at pretty much I think in my top 5, I think everybody in my top 5 got 3 or more finals MVPs. I look at their postseason performances, like some of their best postseason performances. So the reason why I got him, and also obviously got 5 championships. But my reasons is, he's one of 5 players, had 3 finals MVPs. He never missed the playoffs in a 19-year span. His whole career, he never missed the playoffs. He got the most playoff double-doubles with 164. He's first in playoff blocks, 3rd in playoff rebounds, 6th in playoff points. And from 1999 to 2007, his playoff averages were 24 points a game, 12 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Hold on. Yeah. And then he, in 2003, to eliminate the Lakers, his averages were 28 and 11. But in Game 6, closeout game, to close him out, he had 37 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks. And then in the finals, this was, after he just prevented the Lakers from winning 4 straight, he had 24 points. He averaged 24 points, 17 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks. So him at number 5 for me is just based on the consistency in the playoffs, where he ranks. And he was obviously in his prime. He was the most important piece to the Spurs. Not to mention he was the defensive anchor too.
Absolutely. So for Sports Talk number 5 all time, Tim Duncan. So I'll let you go, King Speech. Who was number 5 all time in the playoffs?
So
playoff performance.
All right, I'm gonna quickly do my 2 honorable mentions, right? And
Okay.
and this is piggybacking on what Sports Talk just said. Tim Duncan is one of my honorable mentions. The other would be Isaiah Lord Thomas. So Isaiah Thomas, and I mean, because I mean Isaiah Thomas. Just quickly, number one, as I agree with everything he just said about Tim Duncan, excellent all around numbers, never missed the playoffs. Pretty much, I mean, the one blight I could say is like not getting the 1 seed Spurs out when they lost to the AC Grizzlies. That's the one blight, and even that the fact that you led a team to the 1 seed, I wouldn't even blame him for that. I mean, I think just the Grizzlies just kind of played inspired and won that series that year. But every other year they got to the second. Yeah. So, and then Isaiah, I mean, Isaiah was just a beast in the playoffs. So, swept the Lakers, my guy Magic. So and then that performance on the bad ankle. I mean, you also go back to that duel he had with Bernard King. Even though Bernard King won that duel, that was one of the best two. When you look at two bulldogs going at each other, one team leading the Pistons, the other leading the Knicks. Eventually they got past the Celtics, who were dominant at the time. I know the Celtics had a couple of injuries, but they took their turn, and Isaiah Thomas was money in the player. He was a money player. So my number 5 guy, and I'm gonna have to go Kobe Bean Bryant.
Okay.
I know he had some shortfalls, but Kobe Bean was mostly money in the playoffs. I mean, again, I don't even got the numbers with me. I'm trying to get a few of them, but I don't know. We was talking the other night about 33, the 33 against the Spurs. Basically, as people kind of made him out. I know. You know what happens too? One thing I think is not fair is when they look at his finals numbers in the first 3 finals, and I know that when they say 42% in the finals, don't really tell the whole story. First of all, we know that Kobe Bryant overall was about a 45%, between 44 and 45% shooter. I don't get into the shooting percentage with Kobe because we know the variety of shots he would take. I don't get into clutch stats because I know Kobe was clutch all the time. Because you know what's not included in clutch stats? When you're in a tight game 6 or a tight game 7, and Kobe is hitting them money shots at the beginning of the fourth quarters, as Scap Attack showed in his debate with Gil, Kobe was the leading fourth quarter scorer in many playoffs, the entire playoffs. The fourth quarter scorer, that's winning time. And Kobe would hit these impossible shots that break teams back, even in that controversial Sacramento Kings series. I would see him hit a lot of those clutch shots in the earlier games, and even in game 7. I mean, you basically shouldn't have got a game 7, right? But you can't. Listen, I felt like LeBron shouldn't have got a game 7 against the San Antonio Spurs, and Duncan should have his 6 rings. But that's neither here nor there, But yeah, Kobe was money in the playoffs. You can't. I mean, I'll be fair in that one blight. The worst thing he did, the worst playoff performance, was him in that 2004 finals, and Tayshaun Prince just had his number, and that's the only player I ever saw had his number 1-on-1 against Kobe.
Yeah.
So that 2004 finals was just one blight, but one major blight. But other than that, Kobe always showed up.
Okay, number 5, Kobe for King's Speech. Now mine might be a little controversial, but just thinking about the playoffs and who was the best, I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at number 5. Just some quick stats. He's 33 all-time points per game in the playoffs, 46th all-time rebounds, 9th in blocks, 13th in field goals made. Some of his averages, he's 24.3 points per game, 10.5 rebounds per game, 3.2 assists, and 2.4 blocks. He's a 6-time champion, so this kind of feels like crazy to put somebody that won 6 championships, but then you look and he's only got 2 finals MVPs. He won a championship in the second season, 71, averaging 26.6, 17 rebounds. The guy's phenomenal. He was dominating 80 before he got hurt. And, but what kind of hurts his case is kind of, what we say about Kobe sometimes is that Magic picked up the pieces and was just as good in that next game to seal the deal, to win the championship, with him, being out with the injury. But some highlights, in 85, 38, he averaged 25.7 and had a 36.17 rebound performance in I think it was game 2 when they played the Celtics. So my only gripe is that he had a tough time early on with the Lakers. When he got traded from Milwaukee, he got Bill Walton his second season. That Trailblazer team dismantled Kareem in the conference finals, though, but swept them. And then, of course, 83, Moses Malone and Dr. J just did him and Magic dirty. So, he's been great, but I think that overall, he just, his numbers look decent, but when we're talking about the greatest and top 5 all-time performers in the playoffs, I think he falters a little bit. And I think, some of this is why people are kind of hesitant to put him in that GOAT spot, even though I feel like he's number 2. He's number 2 on my top 5. But, that's just the totality of his career. But, judging him from the playoffs, he has some issues. So my number 5 is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So moving on to number 4, we're going to keep going. My man, Sports Talk. Who is your number 4 playoff performer of all time?
Kevin Durant. I'm gonna break this down real smooth. So by his 3rd year in the NBA, he was in the NBA Finals. To advance, he beat the Mavericks, the defending champion Mavericks, the Lakers, and the Spurs, who actually went to back-to-back finals, 2 years after that. So, and then some criticisms he might get is, obviously joining the Warriors. And then in 2013, when he lost Russell Westbrook, I don't know if y'all remember, he was called Mr. Unreliable. I don't know if y'all remember that, but Westbrook was injured in the first round of game 2.
Mm-hmm.
Durant carried the load versus the Rockets to get them past the first round. In 2014, he led his team to the Western Conference Finals, leading to the eventual NBA champion Spurs. And in 2015, he missed 55 games due to a fracture in his right foot. So he was sidelined for the most of the season, and he was sidelined for the playoffs. So 2016, he returned, and he led his team to the Western Conference Finals again. You said what? Do you hear something? Something off or something? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't think he can hear me.
You got technical issues?
Can y'all hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, you in the snowstorm, right? Yeah. Please. Yeah, I hear you. So I think you good on the stream, but CW might not hear you.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear me. He definitely can't.
Remember, he was saying he was in the like he got the snow. Mm-hmm. He got the snow coming in, so it might be messing with his Wi-Fi.
Dang.
Can you? Oh yeah, look, he just buffered out. So I mean, I guess just keep going, so he get back. I think he was going to go over to me next, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. So if we get into my number 4, because he said he was doing a snake style, so we get into my number 4, it would be actually I have I'm gonna go Larry Bird. I'm gonna go Larry Joe Bird. Again, I'm trying. I got technical difficulties getting on basketball reference, but so I'm gonna just go by memory. Larry Bird's big performances in the playoffs were amazing. He's another guy who never missed the playoffs. Even that game, even that year he hurt his back, he only played 6 games. Boston was able to hold it down without him. But Larry Joe Bird was definitely. I mean, he had some tough performances. I know his first finals, he didn't play that great, but like he didn't shoot that great. But he had like 13, 14 rebounds a game. He was able. One thing about him, I have him as the greatest small forward of all time. There'll be some other guys that might believe it's another guy, right? But Larry Joe Bird, and the reason why I believe that is because second, probably top 5 passer of all time. But as a playmaker, he made plays. He was a playmaker without being on the ball. And that's why the other guy that people might think is the greatest small forward of all time, Larry Joe Bird actually played his position. The other one was a point guard in the small forward slot. So Larry Bird could be off the ball, but in other words, all those years with Dennis Johnson as his point guard, he let Dennis Johnson play point guard and still got 6, 7 assists off the ball. Again, like you couldn't stop him. You had all the great athletes at small forward. If you think Larry Bird was unathletic and this, that, and the third, Larry Bird was just a killer. Like you're not putting a lid on him. Larry Bird would tell you what he was doing and would go do it. I remember, I'm funny going back to my little street ball glory days. I remember guys that would talk crap fast to me, and I would say, okay, let's play 1-on-1. And we're gonna play 1-on-1 for money. And here's what I'm gonna do. My point if I don't tell you what I'm gonna do, if I don't tell you which way I'm gonna go, if I don't like basically I'm gonna go left, and I'm gonna go left, hit you with a crossover, come back to the left. If I don't score like that, the point don't count. That's what I would be like. I would know I would be so much better than a guy that I could basically call out my play, and that's how we play. You can score any kind you want, any way you want, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna call it out. That's what Larry Bird would do at the pro level, and he would do that to some of the greatest players. I mean, he would do that. I mean, to a Bernard King, he would do that to a Dominic. Believe me, listen to them talk about it. Go Google and go listen to them talk about Larry Bird. So Larry Bird was a bad man, and in the playoffs, he was money. Only 3. I know you got the only 3 championships. Listen, we not doing that. We not doing it. I don't just count. There's certain circumstances involved. I mean, there was a lot of competition out in the East. There was a lot of teams out. So we're not just going to do this counting because that certain guy that got to 8 straight finals and only won 3 of them, I believe, right? The competition was dog shit. Okay, the Larry Bird's competition was not dog shit. I promise you that. So you got that. I mean, he didn't have that other guy didn't have a Doc and Moses in his conference. That other guy didn't have a Milwaukee Bucks in his conference. That other guy didn't have a you know what I'm saying. So there we go.
I didn't really finish what I was saying about Durant.
Oh, my fault. I didn't know. Yeah,
no, I was just talking to CW.
Hey, I mean,
I was just waiting until you came back.
I'm not going to touch that.
I was waiting until you came back.
I'm not mad at Durant. I'm not mad at Durant at all.
I was just saying I wasn't going to finish.
I started hearing it. I heard most of your Durant.
Yeah, no, I wasn't finished though. I was just waiting until you came back on.
I mean,
I left off. What I was saying was he led in 2014.
Okay, till I got back, or
yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
What I was saying was in 2014 he led his team to the Western Conference Finals and lost to the champion Spurs. I already said that, I guess. Oh yeah, then he was sidelined in 2015. In 2016 he returned and he led his team to the Western Conference Finals again. But the most notable factor of this playoff appearance is the team he eliminated in the semifinals. The Spurs were 40-1 at home and tied the 86 Celtics record for wins at home. They also broke the 96 Bulls record for net rating, which was number 1 at that time. So Durant led his team past the 67-win Spurs with a 40-1 home record, and then in the Western Conference Finals led them to being up 3-1 on the 73-win Warriors, who had a 39-2 home record. And had he beaten both teams, he would have beaten two teams with a combined record of 140-24 and a 79-3 home record combined. He has real criticism here for blowing a 3-1 lead, and he joined the Warriors, and the rest is history. He won 2 championships and 2 Finals MVPs. He had the iconic line versus the Clippers, "I'm Kevin Durant, y'all know who I am," and proceeded to drop 50 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists versus the Clippers on 57% from the field and 42% from 3. A series in which he averaged 35, 5, and 5, shooting 56% from the field and 40% from 3. He only doesn't have a third championship and third Finals MVP because his injury versus the Rockets and he re-aggravated it versus the Raptors. So in game 7s, he averages 36, 7, and 3. And in elimination games, he averages 29, 7, and 3. The only real blunders on his playoff resume is the 3-1 lead he blew to a 73-win team, mind you. The Grizzlies series in 2013 when Westbrook was missing, and when he got swept by the Celtics in 2022. The only other times he lost to teams that went on to win the NBA championship or all-time great player. In 2012, he lost to LeBron. In 2014, he lost to the Spurs that went on to win the championship. In 2016, he lost to the 73-win Warriors. In 2021, he lost to the Bucks, who went on to win the championship. In 2023, he lost to the Nuggets, but was the only team to take them 6 games. Plus, they also won the championship. In the 2017 finals, he had a top 5 finals performance ever, in my opinion. He averaged 35, 8, and 5 on 55% from the field and 47% from 3. When I look at Durant, he's the only player outside of LeBron and Jordan to be able to consistently score 30 and 40 points against any team, and he's very hard to have an answer for. He's a seamless fit for any team and a virtually unguardable scorer who can get you buckets in the clutch. The times he didn't have playoff success, either Russell Westbrook was injured or he was injured for the most part.
I apologize, guys. I pay for Spectrum, and Spectrum is Spectruming right now. Like I said, I keep going in and out for whatever reason. Can you guys hear me?
We hear you.
I hear you. I finished.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, my fault, guys. I'm doing the best what I'm working with.
You missed the soliloquy.
Like I said, we have this winter storm going on, and snowing and all that outside, so it's affecting our. But I got most of it, and we're going to talk about that at the end because we're going to discuss each other's list. Durant, number 4 all time. Okay. But before I get, hopefully my internet stays in. Can y'all hear me again?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So I guess it's lagging a little bit. I apologize once again. This is we're doing this in the midst of a storm, so bear with me. But my number 4 is Bill Russell. And Bill Russell is one of the most iconic players of all time. But he's 11 championships, 8-peated one time. His average is 16.2, 24.9, pretty much 25 rebounds per game and 4.7 assists. So, that's just crazy. But I just couldn't put him above that. Even though he beat, 69 was a phenomenal season, phenomenal playoffs, and a phenomenal finals. Nobody expected the Celtics to win that. They beat a Lakers team with Jerry West, get this, Elgin Baylor, and Wilt Chamberlain, which was, just at that time, that was crazy. He's never lost in a game 7. He had a 30-point, 40 rebound performance in the 62 finals against the Lakers. And like I say, his career, he leads the playoffs all his career in rebounds. His only blemishes is, his scoring. Some of his field goal percentage was not great as a scorer, and 58, he got hurt, and that kind of hurt him. But altogether, Russell was a force in the playoffs, obviously, but for half of it, he had Bob Cousy. For the other half, he had John Havlicek, both all-time greats if you really pay attention to the game. So my number 4 is Bill Russell. I hope you guys heard that because, like I said, my spectrum is just spectruming right now. So
Yeah, I heard you.
We heard it all.
That's my number 4 is Bill Russell. All right. So, sports talk. Who was your number 3 playoff performer of all time?
It's Shaq. So, in the 2000 and 2002 playoffs, he led the entire postseason in points, rebounds, and win shares in both of those years. I think his finals performances from 2000 to 2002 were some of the most, if not the most dominant ever. And in my opinion, he has the second greatest finals performance ever with 38 points, 16 rebounds, and 2 blocks a game. He followed that performance in the finals with another finals performance of 33 points a game, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks a game, and 4 assists per game, and 3.4 blocks per game. Through the 3 finals from 01 to 03, he averaged 36, 15, and 3 blocks a game. So I know, like, overall, he had a relatively short playoff stint, like as far as dominance is concerned. He had like those 3 years, but for me, I think that as dominant as he was, how dominant he was just during those 3 years, I think we've never really seen anything like that. It's hard for me to put him lower than 3. I know he didn't have like the sustained excellence through the postseason. He don't really have a lot of postseason records or anything like that. I mean, he is one of those players that has the 3 championships with the 3 finals MVPs, but outside of that, that's why I put him at 3.
All right, look, he buffered out again. So we had number 3. I don't, I know we live. We should keep it going. So you done with your Shaq take? Sports book. Hello.
You said what?
I said, are you done with your Shaq take?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. All right. So I know he's gonna come to me next for number 3. So my number 3 is Earvin Magic Johnson. I mean, like let's go to the fact that man at 20 years old, in Game 6 of a closeout game of the finals with Kareem, he played the center position and wound up with 42, 15, and 7 to close out Dr. J and Dr. J and the Sixers. It could be controversial whether he's going won the Finals MVP, but Magic Johnson was a money player. Again, I got in earlier his 1985 playoff run. Like I just looked at the numbers. I looked at the numbers and that was just amazing. Not one game under 11 assists. Every other, I think he only had one game 11 assists, and that's not easy to do, right? That's not easy to consistently set people up. Magic Johnson was just, when they say, now they say this guy makes everybody better. That guy makes everybody better. There's no proof of it. There was proof of it with Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was just the thing. Like I think he breathed life back into Kareem's career. Kareem was already a kind of an aging player. At that time, 32, 33 was ancient in NBA years. Being that they did not have the same training and care for injuries and stuff like that they had now. But Magic Johnson came in life to a Lakers organization. We've seen if people have HBO Max, they might have seen on Winning Time, like and I know because of the writer's strike, they kind of had to cut that series short. But you kind of got a depiction of what Magic brought to the Lakers organization. Really, the Lakers organization that we know to this day is what they are because of Magic. You know, Kareem as well, but Magic was the breath of life. We all know that incident was he dribbled out the clock, and they called him Tragic Johnson. That's one of the blights. I remember seeing Phoenix beat them in 5 in the first round back in '90. That was a blight. Getting swept physical Pistons, but there were many triumphs in between that. I believe in 87, 88, 87, they won 86, 87. Then they came back and won in 87, 88. I believe then Pistons had the next 2 years. But before that, there was no champions. I believe there were no repeat champions since the Celtics heyday. Nobody had repeated. They thought nobody would repeat again. It's almost like right now, after the Spurs dynasty, after the Warriors dynasty kind of fizzled out or started to decline. Now these teams, I don't think the Celtics are going to repeat. It's hard to repeat. But back in the 80s, it was a really, really hard to go back to back because you had so many great teams and you had so many great players and great franchise adjusting. So when they had to save Riley because Riley at 87 parade made the prediction that we're going to go back to back next year, and they pulled it out. So you talk about a guy to 9 finals in 12 years. That's just amazing in itself. Again, go back to the rookie year, that 42, 15, and 7 performance, just stuff with legends. The showdown, if you're gonna include college in it, the showdown with Larry Bird in the 79 NCAA finals. He was just a winning player. He bred winning. To this day, well, he ain't the greatest GM. He ain't the worst GM either, but he really knows about what a team needs, and he truly, like I said, they say this guy, you watch the games now, he makes everybody. Not true. Magic Johnson could play with anybody, any type of style. He would make shooters in his day. He would make big men dominant. Magic Johnson was just the ultimate on-court NBA quarterback. So Magic was definitely my number 3 playoff performer of all
time. Okay, and I feel so unprofessional because I keep dropping off.
Listen, man, it's something you can't help, man. Listen.
Yeah, technology sometimes,
Yeah, that's how it goes.
But I actually agree completely with King's speech. That's my number 3, Magic Johnson, and I think he laid it down very well. Magic Johnson came in the league a champion, could have possibly left the league as a champion. He ran to those Bulls. He had the unfortunate incident where, he had to leave and his career was cut short. But anybody that came in 1980, went to 9 finals, won 5 of them. How can you deny him from any top 5 list when it comes to the playoffs? I just think Magic was just a special player. He was, he just did things at a different level. Just him and Bird were just, they were special. There's just no other way to say it, because when you watch them and you watch those series, you watch the 80s, the league at that time, we had the Tragic Johnson time. What's that, 82? I think it was. But other than that, Magic was just, and those Showtime Lakers were just, they changed the game. They revolutionized the game at that time, where, the Boston Celtics were a little more grit and grind. You look at them like those Memphis Grizzlies teams, the 2011 team that beat my Spurs. You look at that and they were just a tough team. But the Lakers just made it look pretty all the time, and you had an aging Kareem that still was dominant because of what Magic Johnson was able to do, and then you had James Worthy who looked good because of what Magic was able to do. So he made others look good besides himself. And that game, I believe it was Game 6 in '80, where he took over for. I just talked about where Kareem was out. Yeah. I mean, you can't deny that Magic Johnson was a very special playoff player. He was a special player in the whole league. Like he could. I don't know how far up the GOAT ladder you would put him if he had been able to complete his career the way he probably wanted to, but that guy was, you can't deny Magic Johnson. So that's my number 3. I heard your Shaq stuff, sports talk, and we'll talk about that. But who is your number 2 all-time playoff performer?
Jordan.
Figured that.
You need me to go into the specifics, or
You lit now.
Go ahead and go to. I mean, I think.
well, I want to
specifics, but go
okay.
ahead.
He averaged 40 points per game in 5 different playoff series. He averaged 41 in the finals. He averages the most playoff points per game. Got the second most playoff points, second most playoff buzzer beaters. He got the most finals MVPs. I think he got the 3rd best finals performance ever in my eyes. And when he averaged 41 in the finals.
Okay.
And then hold on. His elimination game averages are 31-7-7. He averages 33-7-7 in game 7s. He got the most 40-point playoff games. There's the top 10 statistical playoff performances only have 2 guys. I'm sure you can guess who the 2 guys are. It's Jordan and someone else. So that's why.
Your number 1. We already know.
And really, I think I don't know if you probably wasn't on the stream when I said this about Kevin Durant, but I think Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James are the only guys I've seen that can consistently get 30 and 40 a game in big games, no matter what team, what defense. Personally, them the only guys I've seen. They're just walking buckets, and yeah. So that has a lot to do with it, why I rank him so high, and why I rank Durant in my top 5 too.
It's lit.
Okay, I don't have nothing. I have nothing wrong with what you say. So, King Speech, who is your number? We're at number 2, I believe. Number two
yes,
all time.
Number 2. And I'm gonna go with William Felton Russell as my number 2. Again, you talk about I have him as my number all-time player, and you talking about an immaculate playoff record. You talking about a guy who lost 2 playoff series in his whole career. I mean, like against the one of them would be the Bob Pettit and the St. Louis Hawks. We had St. Louis Hawks in the finals. And then you have the other loss against the 67 Sixers, who I believe is one of the top 5 teams of all time. If you look at that, was one of the crowning jewels of Wilt Chamberlain's career. You're talking about a guy who went up against Goliath. Goliath at the time. Imagine if David and Goliath had one matchup, right? And he hit him with the slingshot. God put the those were biblical. Imagine having what 7 or 8 matchups with Goliath, and you come out 7 times. Well, look, yes, we all know that Bill Russell had a great team around him. Red Auerbach was an absolute genius putting that team together. You're in the age of no free agency, so the guys that Auerbach got were going to be, nobody's going to leave via free agency. But consistently, look, the Celtics never won a championship before Russell, and they didn't win a championship 5 years after Russell. And I understand it. Sam Jones retired with him, and Casey Jones retired years earlier. But quickly they got JoJo White to take Sam Jones' place. They got Dave Cowens, and you still had Hondo. That team didn't get back to the finals for 5 years. Okay, well, let's forget that he also was the player coach of the last two championships.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, when you like, and again, I wasn't old enough, I wasn't around to exactly see these performances. But what I'm told, what I read the coverage is, Bill Russell had a knack for making that last play. Like I was saying earlier, I think pre-stream we were talking about him, how he was kind of like the Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter had that knack where he wasn't gonna look at the raw numbers, but when you do look at the raw numbers, like the facilitation, I mean, again, I look at the raw numbers, and it was one season, it was one playoff run where he averaged 30 rebounds a game. I believe that might be the record for rebounds per game. He averaged 29.9 rebounds per game in a finals run. It was again, I know critics will say, well, you only had 2-3 series. Again, look, there's no first round series against some mediocre 40-something win team. You're going straight to the nitty gritty. You're going straight to the conference finals. You know, you're playing against Hall of Famers every night. You're guarding a Hall of Fame every night. No, Bill Russell. See again. It was George Mikan who played against 6'5" centers. Bill Russell was actually undersized. He was about 6'9", 6'9.5", or long 6'9.5", but he was 6'9". Most centers the average center was 6'10", 6'11". Okay, this is not this era where you could have a PJ Tucker playing center in a conference in a second round against the Lakers. No, this is an era where there was Nate Thurman the guard. There was Bill Russell, of course, Jerry Lucas the guard. There was the Willis Reed to guard. There was centers. If there were only 19, guess what? 5 of them had a Hall of Fame center to compete against. And the rest of the Lakers had a Rudy LaRusso at center. He wasn't a chop meat either. You know, Bill Russell, again, like I said, if you look at the press clippings, these were series that always came down to Game 7. Usually came down to Game 7. They were all long series. And Bill Russell would just make that play. He just had a knack for making that winning play. You're not going to get the 30 points a game on 67% shooting. That's not how the game was played. That was not Russell's game. That was, if you want to say offensively being a dominant force, being a dominant back to the back. No, he was going to make a lot of winning plays on offense and defense. And that's why he is my number 2. I mean, like I said, if you're not, the only reason he's not my number 1 is because, he didn't get the 39 points a game. I mean, it would be nice where he would get some 25-point performances, but his role offensively was more facilitated, and he was the greatest defender, in my opinion, of all time. Because, again, his ability, his timing, he would make Hall of Famers miss layups just by hearing his footstep, because he had that ability to recover. If you look at that picture where he's leaping over a guy, reaching over to make the block, this was Bill Russell for you, ladies and gentlemen. All-time great. The fact that so many young heads don't even have him in the top 10 and they look at raw numbers is really disrespectful. We can get into those debates later, man. We can get into those debates later. But Bill Russell, if he ain't in your top 5, if he ain't in your top 10, I can see him keep him out of the top 5. But he ain't in your top 10. I don't respect your all-time back. Like, stop talking GOAT. Just say best you ever seen, because those are two different things. There you go.
Hey, I do not disagree with what you said. You broke it down perfectly for Bill Russell. I had him at number 4, but he's definitely one of those guys you can kind of, he can be anywhere because of what he did historically. And like you said, 8 teams and the best 80 players in the country. That was when it was integrated, not segregated. But I agree. He's one of the tops. Like I say, he was my number 4. Number 2, and I'm not going to go into the numbers because I know my man Sports Talk will go into the numbers in depth in a few minutes. But and I know this is people don't like him, but LeBron James. I mean, I have to give him those props. He's done some things in the playoffs that just haven't been done from a certain perspective. You know, I'm an averages guy. I'm not a accumulated totals guy because I don't think I like to see what you do on a nightly basis other than what you've done over your career, because you know that to me doesn't tell the whole story. But either way, he's still number 2 all time. You know, the 4 and 6 is what keeps him to me a distant second. And even with, you know, Bill Russell and these other guys, LeBron he's done some things that we have to, I'm gonna say we have to admire. You know, that 2016 finals run was phenomenal. I have to put it in those terms, because what he did was essentially beat what on paper and raw numbers was the greatest team in NBA history, because they had the greatest and I don't know how you judge it, but a team that had the greatest regular season record, they have to be considered one of the greatest teams of all time. I mean, you cannot deny that. So the fact he was able to win that series for that team, and a Cleveland team that was good, you know, you got to say they were good, but a team that we thought nobody could beat because they were just roughshotting the entire NBA. So, like I said, I'm not going into the numbers. You know, he's accumulated the most points, and I believe he's played the most playoff games. Was it 282, something like that? But he's played the most playoff games, I think, and you know he's shattered some records. But I just can't deny him from that spot. I'm gonna put him number 2, and now I'm gonna pitch it over to Sports Talk, who's going to give you all the records that he has broken and everything he's done to be number 1. So I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna throw the assist over to Sports Talk.
Obviously, number 1 is LeBron James. Obviously, very obviously. I mean, you knew I was gonna say that from the moment we. But
I knew it.
We're gonna start. I mean, this is just his records. He got the most playoff points, the most playoff buzzer beaters, which he got more than Jordan and Kobe combined. He got the most playoff steals, the most playoff wins, the most playoff series wins, the most playoff field goals, the most playoff free throws, the most defensive rebounds, the most playoff clutch shots. He has the best playoff plus minus. He's number 1 in 13 playoff stats. He's top 10 in every single playoff stat, and the only player to do it. He's led his team in points, rebounds, and assists 7 times in the NBA Finals. He's led his team in points, rebounds, and assists 48 times in the playoffs. The next closest is Bird at 13. He's number 4 all time in playoff rebounds. Only Wilt, Russell, and Duncan have more. He's the only player top 10 in both points and assists in the playoffs. He's led his team in all 5 categories in 9 different playoff series. He's the only player to lead both teams and all players and everything in a playoff series of any length. He did that versus a 7-3 win team, by the way. He has 4 of the top 10 game scores in the NBA Finals, including the number 1 spot, which is Game 6, 2016 versus the Warriors. He swept 12 best-of-7 series. He's played 3.5 full seasons worth of playoff games. He has more finals appearances than 27 franchises. He scored the second most points in a single playoff run, which was in 2018. He won 20 series without a top 75 teammate. He averages 34, 9-5 in Game 7s and 33, 10-7 in elimination games. He has 5 of the top 10 statistical postseason runs ever, which is only him and Jordan on that list, and he tops the list. He has the most 30-point playoff games, and in my opinion, he has the best NBA Finals performance ever, leading both teams and all players and everything, leading a 3-1 comeback where teams were 0-32 all time versus a 73-win team. and the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. So there you go.
Okay,
Self-explanatory.
we're not blindsided by that one. At least I'm not. So Sports Talk
Ooh,
has
I heard a lot of numbers.
LeBron at number 1 for the greatest playoff performer of all time. How about yourself, King Speech?
All right, man. Boy, I heard a lot of numbers. I felt like an accountant right there, bro. Whoa. I heard
knew that was
73
coming.
wins a lot of times. I know. I heard 73 wins a lot of times. Oh boy. Well,
I said it 3
yeah, I'm
times.
not
3 times to be
not
exact. I don't think that's that much. I was just pointing it out.
I think it was at least 5, but okay.
If you don't know, I'm very astute and very intellectual. If you can't tell, I know how many times I said it 3 times.
Doubt. Listen. Numbers don't lie. The numbers. But here's my point about the numbers.
No, I'm not saying what about the numbers. I don't care about that. What I'm saying is I know how many times I said it. I said it 3 times.
Oh, okay.
3.
Well,
you can go on with what you were going to say.
Well, the point I'm making is better to beating a 73-win team is being a 72-win team.
Okay. Are you going to get on with who you have number 1?
This 4
because we can get into that after you go. Is what I'm saying.
We will. Okay, I got you, brother. This 4 lose, my number 1 is the Michael Jeffrey Jordan. As I said, better than beating a 72-win team 3 times or maybe 5 times, whatever. It's better to beat a 72-win team. And we all know, look, they were going to win a 70 the second time, but they took their foot off the gas in 97. All right? So the greatest player performer of all time is definitely Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And I want you to just go series by series. There was 0 bad series. You know what? The worst part about it is to find a bad series for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, you would have to, the closest thing to having a bad series is the 1996 finals, where Michael only shot around, because again, I don't got the numbers in front of me. I didn't write them down. I didn't prepare this. I did kind of get an idea, but I wasn't even sure about what the topic was going to be. I wasn't sure if it was playoff performance teams, but now, since we're going all time, and it's not just single game or single series or single playoff run, it is all time, and it's Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You're talking about a guy who, let's go, all those playoff series in the 13 years he made the playoffs. Never once was outscored. Oh, I'm sorry. He was outscored 1 time by one individual player, and that would be his rookie season against Terry Cummings, who outscored him by a grand total of 1 point. 29.4 to 29.2, Michael Jordan in his rookie season. He was only outscored by only out field goal made by 1 player. So only 1 player made more field goals in a series, and that would be Patrick Ewing in the 1993 conference finals. Patrick Ewing had scored more field goals, but Michael Jordan had more points. Being the free throws and threes might have made up for the difference.
Facts.
There was no Jason Terry coming off the bench outscoring my man.
Of course, you don't even know the context of that series. That's the funny thing.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I believe I
yes,
saw
sir.
that
You don't know the
series.
context of that series.
I believe I watched that series.
But watching it and understanding the game is 2 different things. But I'll let you have it.
Okay. Oh, it was a strategy to let a bench player outscore you. But look, nobody.
He scored 1 more point, just like you brought up with Jordan.
The Terry Cummings score.
He scored 1 more point. No, I'm saying Jason Terry scored 1 more point.
Oh, he scored 1 more point, but he came off the bench, right? He wasn't.
Yeah, but he scored 1 more point.
But he scored. But he came off the bench. But here we go.
But he scored 1 more point. Is what I'm saying. So you said it like it's
better shooting percentage, right? On a better shooting percentage, right? See, here's my thing.
Of course, you know that he scored it on a better shooting percentage because you only know the negatives about LeBron's career. But like I said, I'll let you have it.
I know all the context. In context
sure you
matters.
do.
Like I said,
It does.
Context matters.
We're gonna let us go back and forth.
Yeah,
Look.
yeah.
That's why I said I'm gonna let him have that for now.
We're gonna get to the main event. We're gonna get to the main event. You know, I was watching Angry Old Hoops channel, right? Today.
Man,
And,
another LeBron hater.
Another LeBron hater, but he was really what he was doing was watching the Game 7, the first 10 minutes of Game 7 of the 1998 Eastern Conference Finals, which was the closest that Bulls second three-peat came to not three-peat, right? They were actually in danger of losing. And let's just go there because Scottie Pippen is brought up in this man's career a whole lot. Scottie Pippen was hurting, and then Dennis Rodman, the second superstar of the Dennis Rodman came off the bench. Phil Jackson opted to start Tony Kukoc much of the second half of that season because Jordan needed. Scottie wasn't bringing it. The back surgery. You could understand it, but Scottie wasn't bringing it offensively, and this is why they went. And so in that breakdown, you saw a lot of contact, which you say, but I got to summarize the whole career rather than just go specifically. But long story short, I watched the remastered Game 6, that Game 6, the famous Game 6 where Jordan got the steal on Malone and hit those last two shots after the Stockton 3. Boy, Jordan, and you're talking about an exhausted Jordan who had to carry the Bulls in the third three-peat of the last, the second three-peat. So the last season of the last dance, that last dance that we all, again, the last dance will show you the whole thing. You younger generation got to see the whole playoff story. And again, we brought everything up. We don't have to talk. We don't have to shit on Scottie Pippen. But when it comes down to money time, again, the guy didn't have a bad series. You want to say that the Celtics kicked his ass and the Bucks kicked his ass and the Pistons kicked his ass. Find me a bad series. Find me one bad. Again, I preface this by saying the closest thing you have to a bad series was him shooting less than 42%. And look, I like to say this when I say this on Go James Kingdom, and I say this on FYF, and I say this. I did not root for Michael Jeffrey Jordan. I'm a Knicks fan, brother. I'm a Knicks fan. I wanted him to lose. I wanted Malone to win a chip. I wanted Barkley to win a chip. I wanted these guys to win. I wanted the Sonics to win. I said, what the hell is George Karl doing not putting Gary Payton on him earlier? I wanted him to win. I wanted him to lose. Never did. He always was there in the end. Whatever the Bulls needed. And I mean, look, you're talking about the Steve Kerrs of the world and the Tony Kukoc of the world. They were nice players. They were good players in their role. But Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the idea that it was just scoring. Whoa. Do you not realize that Michael Jeffrey Jordan, especially in that Game 6 that I watched remastered, when Scottie Pippen gave you nothing, gave you nothing in the second half. When Michael Jordan went to the bench for 4 minutes, the Bulls could not run offense. It was ugly. So the idea that Michael Jordan, first of all, anybody that knows, Michael Jordan was expected to come in and be a Grant Hill type. He was expected to come in to be a LeBron James type before LeBron James. They thought he would be a 17, 8, and 8 guy would play great defense. They did not realize he was going to come in and win scoring title. Michael Jeffrey Jordan was everything. He was the most impossible player to beat. Trust me, I'm a Knicks fan. I know. Now, look, he had some teams that kicked his ass to come that playoff time. And then, look, I know he got a couple of calls. Listen, that's what they did for the superstars. I know he got a couple of calls, but Michael Jordan was going to show up. He showed up. And again, I mean, listen, we'll get into I don't want to dirty Mac your number one. But let me ask you, games 1 through 4 to 2008 Eastern Conference semis versus Boston. You know what your number one all-time playoff performance shot in those first 4 games? On Sportscast, that's a question to you.
No, because I don't
Sports
look
talk.
at.
You didn't write those numbers
don't-
down.
I-
Okay, I got you.
No. Hear what I'm saying. No, because I don't focus on the negatives of a player's career.
See, that's you know what I do though. I do focus on the negatives because even my man Magic
Exactly.
Johnson.
So we can't even have
I brought up his negative.
even Steven. Yeah, I mean, okay, go ahead and tell me what he shot.
I got you. He shot 23%. And there's a reason why I say this. Like, look, anybody can have a bad 4-game stretch, right? Anybody can have a bad 4. Even Jordan can have a bad 4-game stretch. There are playoff games where Jordan shot like 7 for 31 against the Atlanta Hawks. Anybody can have a bad 4-game stretch. I mean, not in the playoffs. Like Jordan didn't do that in the playoffs. His worst playoff stretch. His worst playoff stretch. I'm talking about the majority of a series was, I already brought it up, against Seattle, where they had a 3-0 lead, and then he struggled in the last. He basically struggled in the last 3 games. Like, what do we call it? We can call it what it is. I look. King speaks the truth. King speaks won't lie to you. But the reason why I brought it up, because you shot 20%. Now, I don't know you guys like other sports, but that's not even a good batting average in baseball. That's not even a good batting average in baseball. Okay? He shot 23% in the first 4 games. Do you know what the Cavs versus Celtics? You know what after 4 games, what the series was? You would think that would be a sweep or 3-1, right?
Yeah.
It was 2-2. It was 2-2. So with the star player shooting 23%, bad batting average. This is his overall field goal percentage. The guy who has nothing around him was able to go 2-2 versus the eventual champions. Look. Gary Payton played. Gerald Wilkins played some good defense on Jordan. Gary Payton played defense player of the year. That was his peak defense. Mm-hmm. James Posey hounded that man into 23%. He shot 30. He wound up. He improved it he improved it to 35%. But James Posey was the guy hounding him, not Paul Pierce. I mean, I'm sure he got a little help from Garnett, but I mean, come on. And this is after, mind you, this is after the famous finals where he shot 35% in the finals, 21-6 and 6 turnovers with Bruce Bowen and the rest of the Spurs handling him. But I'm just saying, I mean, you would think you would want to vindicate yourself and not shoot 23% in the playoff. Well, again, I don't want to dirty Mac nobody's.
You already did, bro. Stop trying to be disingenuous. Just get on with your point.
Yeah. Again, you ain't gonna find no 23% 4-game stretch in Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Okay.
And it gets real deep about that. Okay.
Okay, we could get into that. I want to hear CW's last take. He didn't get his off, and that's what I was waiting for. So go ahead, bro.
Well, you know who my number 1 is.
Of course.
For the reasons why my man King Speech said. Like I said, averages to me are more important than accumulated stats. 33.4 points per game. If you had a bad series, you go back to, I think it was 80. It was either 88 or 89 against the Pistons. He slipped up a little bit, and even 96, which almost was the perfect season for Jordan. Gary Payton really mucked it up for him in that final. So he struggled a little bit against that Sonics team. But they still got the job done. So Michael Jeffrey Jordan, I'm not a zesty Jeffrey.
I wouldn't call you that.
No, I'm not one of those. But
exactly. You got it. My basketball. So my basketball. I'm sorry not to step on you. My basketball. So I was thinking he was a Johnny for a minute. My bad. I was thinking he was a Johnny. My bad for being so vicious.
No, you good. But yeah, Michael Jordan, greatest playoff performer of all time. So real quick before we let's let you guys go at it, because I know y'all have some things to say to each other. I'm gonna post the invite in the chat also if anybody wants to hop in and give their 2 cents. Sports talk real quick, your top 5 playoff performers of all time, real quick, from 1 to 5.
You said what? My bad.
Oh no, just give us your 1 through 5 top 5 playoff performers of all time.
LeBron, Jordan, Shaq, Kevin Durant, and Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
And now we're gonna let my man King Speech give us his top 5.
So I started off with my 2 honorable mentions, Duncan and Isaiah. My 5 was I forgot my 5. No, my 5 was Kobe. Number 4 was Larry Joe Bird. Number 3 was Magic. Number 2 was Will Felton Russell, and number 1 was Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Okay. And in my top 5, number 5 was Kareem, 4 Bill Russell, 3 Magic, 2 LeBron James, and number 1 was Michael Jordan. So you guys had a few things to say back and forth during my man King Speech's declaration that Michael Jordan was the best playoff performer. Anything, any issues you guys have with anybody's top 5 list? Are you, of course,
I mean, personally, I really don't care who the top 5 is. I have my own top 5.
Okay.
But my issue would be disingenuous takes. That's what my issue would be.
What do you think is what you
say?
What you think?
Okay, King Speech. King Speech. This is a question for you.
Sure.
In 1993, in the Eastern Conference Finals, versus the Knicks.
Yep.
Through the first 3 games, first 2 games, the Bulls lost. They were down 2-0 to the Knicks. So in game 3, Jordan shot 3 of 18, 16%, and the Bulls should have gone down 0-3 and missed their 3rd title. They won by 20. Now, would you say that shooting 16% and they still getting the win is an indicator that his team was great?
Yeah, the Bulls were a great team. They was
okay. So you made that point about what LeBron shot and how they were tied in the series. I found an instance where Jordan shot 16%, but they should have gone down 0-3 with him shooting 16%.
In a single game, yeah, you're right. I mean, how many? Can you tell me how many times he got to the line? Because I probably mitigated a lot. I'm sure Jordan scored at least 20 in that, 18. No, he scored 18 in that game, right?
You tell me. I just know he shot 16%.
I mean, you looked up the numbers. I mean, listen, I lived this. I'm a Knicks fan, obviously. You know that I wanted to win. I salivated at winning that series after what happened in '92. I salivated at winning that series. I wanted this was my time for the Knicks to arrive. Okay. Again, number 1, that Knicks defense. I'm gonna just say that. Listen, Celtics defense was great as well. But you got a single game, and I got a 4-game stretch. And mind you,
I got multiple games actually.
Okay, so you got multiple games against my Knicks,
which
right?
game were you talking about?
He said game 3. So game 3.
That was game 3.
After the dunk, Starks went up. We went up 2-0.
In game 6,
of what year?
He had no field goal. The same series, 1993.
93. Okay.
In game 6 of the same series, he had no field goals for 22 minutes. He didn't score a point for 22 minutes.
So he didn't have no field goals. He didn't score a point. That's 2 different things.
No, he didn't score a point for 22 minutes.
In game 6, in the
same series.
I'm seeing. You gotta listen. I go back. I'm seeing red at this point, right? This is after the Starks. After the Joe Smith. Charles Smith missed layup game on Memorial Day. I'll never forget that. And then game 6 was they closed it out. So he went 22 minutes, not a point. Are you sure about that? No field.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% sure. I'm looking at the news article that printed the paper out.
How many did he have in that game?
I don't know. I didn't look at that. I'm looking at the negatives.
I'm sure.
Just like you.
Okay. But you're looking at the negative. You're looking at the negative. And the reason I brought that up because a lot of LeBron fans will tell you. And again, I had this walk down with both Lamont.
Hold on. Before you go, in game 5, in the final 3 minutes, he didn't score a point either. He also passed at the end of the game, and the Bulls lost.
No. Game 5.
In the
Game
same
5
in the
was
same series
famous,
versus the Knicks.
No, Game 5 we lost. That was the famous Charles Smith blowing the layup. Look, again, again, you think that I mean, number one, I can take pride because in this day and age, I can take pride to know that my Knicks actually locked down the GOAT. So as you bring this up, I mean, I could take pride as a Knicks fan. That was 93 and 97 were really like the years that I knew that the Knicks were going to beat the Bulls, and it didn't happen. Like I knew, I was salivating, waiting to put my foot in them boys from Chicago's ass. Okay, I was salivating, so I lived this era. All right, you can tell me the numbers. I mean, again, I'm sure
just
Jordan
like you told me the numbers. That's the point.
But
I could cherry pick just as much as you could cherry pick.
But you got to understand why I told you the numbers. Because again, all right, and I get it. Maybe that wasn't part of your argument about having no players around him and this, that, and the third. But here's the thing. That I have about your LeBron. I'm never one to say LeBron is not clutch. But I like when you have a discussion about him, I've seen him be clutch enough to know that he's not clutch. But I've seen him be clutch enough to know that he's not exactly Mr. Clutch. Do you get what I mean? I've seen him choke. Okay, I've seen him choke many times, and then I've seen him come through many other times. Again, 2011.
Like every player, right?
Yeah,
no, go ahead. Keep going. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to tell you what. 8 shots in 46 minutes versus the Pistons. 8 shots in 46 minutes versus the Pistons. 1 shot in the fourth. It was an air ball.
88 or 89.
That was 89. 8 shots in 46 minutes versus the Pistons. 1 shot in the fourth. It was an air ball.
Yeah,
8 shots. I think the entire game.
That was his one season where I think he did come up a little short.
He had the worst shooting percentage out of every Bulls starter. He had 2 field goals in 41 minutes. He went scoreless for 20 minutes, and this was in Game 4. Game 4 was winnable. Detroit shot 36% from the field, didn't score on 7 of their last 11 possessions. They scored 10 points in the first 9 minutes of the second quarter. They missed 15 free throw attempts, shooting 31 for 46 from the line, and was only up in the fourth quarter by 4 points. The Bulls only lost by 6.
He finished with 18, didn't he? Or something like that.
That was the next game.
Okay. What did he finish with there? 23
on 33% shooting, the worst shooting out of everybody on the Bulls starter.
In the game, right?
Okay, the next game, he follows it up 8 shots, 46 minutes, and 1 shot in the fourth with 4 turnovers. He was outscored by Craig Hodges. Hodges also shot a better percentage from the field. He was outscored by Mark Aguirre. He was outscored by the bench player on the Pistons, Vinnie Johnson, who played only half the minutes Jordan played, 23 minutes. He took 1 shot in the fourth, playing against the reserves. Isaiah Thomas and Mark Aguirre only played 1 minute in the fourth, and Bill Laimbeer was already on the bench. Game 5 was a winnable game as well, because the Bulls only led by 4 at halftime. They entered the fourth only down by 1 point and only lost by 9 in a game where he took 8 shots the full game and took 1 shot in the fourth quarter. In fact, there were newspapers plastered with his image talking about how he was choking or something was wrong with him. The Detroit commentators were like, he's in the sleepwalk this series. He's sleepwalking on the court. What's wrong with Michael Jordan? The Michael Jordan who always comes up clutch, right? So you're not gonna sit there and tell me that these things don't exist for every player. Now, if you want to say 2011 was a bad series for LeBron, do you think I'm sitting here saying 2011 was a good series for LeBron? Do you think I'm sitting here saying he performed in 2011? Is that what you think I'm saying?
Real quick. So you're saying that 1989 was Jordan's, that was his Tragic Johnson.
Yeah, I am saying that. I'm saying what I'm saying is,
where he had his issues.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is every player has them. Now we can nitpick and talk about what this player did or didn't do, I think that the conversation, like, we are all entitled to our own opinions, but when you simply sit here and just look at the negatives, of course, I'm going to have an issue with that, because now it's disingenuous, because it's like you're saying Jordan didn't have negatives. I got a whole list of all his negatives sitting here right in front of me. All his bad shooting percentages, games where he lost, choked in the clutch, all this kind of stuff. I could go for like 30 straight minutes and you wouldn't have nothing to say. Now what's my point? What is my point? My point is, so first of all, even when you bring up what LeBron shot versus Boston, first of all, you have to take into consideration zone defense. Zone wasn't legal in the 80s, in the 90s. So what LeBron is shooting now, what?
Because number one, let me tell you something. If you go and look, somebody's remastering, somebody out there. All right, no problem. Here's my thing. I'm gonna go on. Somebody's remastering these games back from the 80s. At least the 90s. Somebody's remastering them. Somebody's got these games on tape, because a lot of these games you can only find on VHS tape. But somebody's finding a way to remaster. Because what I saw on YouTube with that 98 Game 6 was amazing. But here we go. Again, y'all do a lot of digging to find these little statistical anomalies or things.
So what do you call what you just did?
No.
That's digging in his career, finding statistical anomalies out of 22 years.
Remember what I said. Jordan don't have a bad series. You picked out bad games. If you're gonna tell me, because
a full bad series, 1989.
Come on, this guy against the same Pistons defense in Game 3 scored 46 points off 16 of 26.
Okay, so how did it go from 46 points to what I just mentioned? How? What happened?
23, 18, and 32. Well, that's called defensive adjustment.
Okay. So you're allowed to bring up the Pistons making defensive adjustments, but when Mark Cuban talks about 2011 and he says what they did to make LeBron ineffective on their end with defensive adjustments, I'm not allowed to say that. I'm not allowed to say that they deserve credit for implementing defensive game plans and using zone defense.
Wow, you're gonna just. Here's the thing. You just said zone defense, and that's why I said when I'm.
Yeah, but that's not the only factor, though. That's just part of the factor.
You said, okay, look. You said it wasn't zone defense. Must be the Pistons found a way to zone him up. You can go look at steal shots. You can go look at. They found a way to zone him up. They zoned him so they could get away with it. I made this point on FYF, and this is why your boy this is when your boy saw me. They zoned in the 80s. They would do it. So they would do it until it would be called. There was no time where you're gonna see 15 straight illegal defenses called.
Because it's gonna stop the game and interrupt the momentum of the game. Just like every other rule, they don't call every rule every time you violate it. That doesn't mean zone was legal.
It wasn't legal. So wait, okay, great. Zone is legal now. Number one, and Uncut Hoops. When I was on MJFB. Echo my sentiment. He said, you can't play a true zone with illegal 3-second defense with 3 seconds in the paint. So you can't even play a true zone. So telling me about zone,
and you would think that's a good point. But the defensive 3-second rule has been around since 1960 in the 1960s.
No. They would call that, but then you would call that illegal defense.
No. Hold on. You're not going to tell me, because this is on the official NBA website. The defensive 3-second rule has been around since the 1960s, in particular 1967.
And you know what the rule implies, right? That you have to be within a certain distance. You have to be guarding a player if you're going to stand in the paint. You have to be guarding. So if a player is down in the low box, you can stand in there for 15 seconds because you're guarding him, right?
No, you couldn't stand in there.
So are you telling me
You had
that my
no.
player
Hold
is in the
on.
box?
If you let me explain this to you. Let me explain this to you. If
Boy.
in the 90s when zone was illegal, if you're guarding someone, standing there and guarding them, then what difference does it make if somebody's on, if for instance, if Jordan is on the perimeter and he's about to drive to the rim, and in the paint you have two centers guarding each other, and they're not really going to collapse the defense on him because he has to guard someone. He's guarding the other guy, so the paint isn't more crowded because he has to guard someone else. Whereas today, the defensive 3-second rule, it became a separate rule to make it fair for offensive players, right? So I'll explain it to you like this: when you play zone,
I know it. I got it.
I'm not trying to insinuate that you're
stupid.
Rule. Okay, but the reason why they made the defensive 3-second rule was like a separate rule when they banned the illegal defensive rules, is because they're already cutting off the paint by allowing zone. So if you allow a center to stay in there as long as he wants, and guys to zone up on you, that's already cutting off the driving lane, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to make it fair for anyone to score. So they added it as a separate rule. Now, with zone defense being legal now, you can have guys. The centers don't have to be guarding anyone, or anyone in that area don't have to be guarding anyone. All they have to do is step in and out of the paint. 2.9 seconds. Step in and out.
Understandable.
That allows them.
Real quick.
So went into that. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. I'll let you guys continue, but yeah, sports talk. I remember you talking about this in one of the chats. And now I get it. You're talking about NBA rule, man versus man, man on man, and zone defenses because you're talking about the illegal defense and how you have to stay at arm's length from a guy. That's why you feel like zone is better than man, and the NBA,
to
the NBA level. Man. Is that correct? I'm just trying to see if I'm right with that. That's why you feel like zone's better.
It's harder to play against,
even without the NBA rules, illegal defense rules. Without the, you had to be an arm length away from your.
It's harder to play against. All the players when they asked about, hold on, before you even say anything.
Yeah.
Jordan was asked, about zone defense. He said he wouldn't have had the same career if zone defense was allowed. He said stars might go out if zone defense was allowed. All the players in the 2000s, what were they saying? They were saying if they could get rid of any rule in the NBA, it would be zone defense. And they were talking about how it's harder to play against.
Even before or when they put in the 3-second rule. Even before that.
It was the defensive 3-second rule became It already existed. It already existed in the 90s. It was just called as a technical foul.
Yeah.
So
okay. Go ahead. Because I listened to that for a while because we've kind of come off on a tangent, right? And see, there's 2 points I want to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can't, as I said, you cannot play a true zone with illegal things. See, because if like when you guys talk about zone, number one, two mistakes y'all make. Y'all act like they really play it. If you're going to look at probably 2 to 3% of defensive plays, or they're playing some variation of a zone, a matchup zone. I mean, they could throw a matchup zone when somebody's cooking. And again, another point. I'm gonna slip it in there. I just wasn't going to be the second point. But when Michael Jordan said that, he said that as an owner. He didn't say that as a player because he said that after retirement, after his second retirement. So he said that as he was becoming the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats and then the Charlotte Hornets. So he was saying, yeah, I wouldn't have had the career with a zone. But again, you're not going to see the Jim Boeheim 2-3 at Syracuse in the NBA because you can't truly play it with defensive 3 seconds. As you said, defensive 3 seconds has always existed, right? But again, to mitigate that, centers always played in the box. You know, that's why stretch fives became a special thing, because you would wind up having to pull that center matchup out of the paint, because either you're gonna hold down the paint and stop all of the guys from dancing to the basket, or you're gonna have that center go out, or you're gonna switch off. Like, let's just say Sam Perkins was in there at center, or he was in there at power forward. Well, yeah, you're gonna either switch the matchup to get your Patrick Ewing or your Dikembe Mutombo. You're gonna switch them to the guy closer to the paint, playing closer to the paint, or you're gonna put him out there with Sam. So you're taking one guy away or whatever. Again, it actually makes it easier with the defensive 3 seconds, because you cannot put him. You can't let a Mutombo stand down there. And now this is why the league is geared towards centers taking jump shots, because it will stretch. This is why Brook Lopez went from mid-range and post guy to 3-point shooter now, because he keeps the lane clear for he keeps the lane clear for Giannis Antetokounmpo. But they're not really playing. They only play zone in special occasions. They only play zone. Like, they would switch it to a zone. But what I'm telling you is the Pistons, with the Jordan rules, which is some should read in those articles, they found a way to zone them. They found a way.
What I'm saying is they didn't.
Yeah,
because it wasn't legal.
Bro, if you look at
you couldn't double him without the ball.
You're telling me what the rules say, but I'm telling you what actually happened on the court.
I'm telling you that illegal defense was called when they were violated. That's what I'm saying.
They were not going to call it every single time, especially in a playoff game.
I already spoke to that point. I said they don't call every single violation every single time.
See, you're going. First of all, you're going by numbers.
Okay, so you're telling me zone defense is not hard to play against. That's what you're telling me, essentially.
No,
it's not hard to play against than man-to-man defense.
Number one, if you went to college and you got a jump shot, you can play against zone defense. That's why
I didn't say you can play against zone or not play against zone. I said
zone defense is situational, though.
I said, is it harder to play against than man-to-man defense?
You asked me anybody to drop 30
the defense in the 90s.
You asked me anybody that ever dropped 30.
No, I'm just asking a simple question.
Okay. Well, can I answer?
Well, you asked me a general question. Is it hard to play against the zone? And
if it's not harder to play against, then why wouldn't it be harder to play against? Because I can explain why it's hard to play against.
You think it's hard to play against in the NBA, or you talking about in the 90s, or right now?
That means because he's a special player.
Yeah. Because I think zone is, if you have ISO type players, zone is the perfect defense. But if you're playing against those 2017 Golden State Warriors, your zone is going to get absolutely.
Yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Why? Because of the 3-point shooting.
You shoot over a zone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's harder to play against perimeter players because you can load up on them.
Yeah,
you can cut off the driving lanes. That's what makes it harder.
Yeah,
that's what makes it harder. Whereas in the 90s, they couldn't double you without the ball, and then moving into they couldn't pre-position guys in the paint, cutting off the driving lanes. Now, when you get past the driving, or when you drive to the hoop, they could come and play help defense and collapse the defense. But now they're already there, already waiting for you to drive, already there waiting, just sitting there waiting. So it's like a guy that's on you, and then 2 guys behind him just waiting for you to drive.
I'm gonna let you guys
and because they're not legally tied to anyone, they can just wait there.
Can I ask
you argue this, but see, brother, sports talk. You argue this in concept, and the point that I'm trying to get at is that the Pistons disguised their defense enough to do this to Michael Jordan.
Yes,
I'm telling you, you can go back and watch. They did a lot of boxing one sets against Jordan. They did a lot of boxing one against Jordan, and they got away with it because, number one, you're right. Look, there was no referee that was going to sit there and I'm gonna call. Oh, I see what you're doing. I'm gonna call it. No.
Yeah, but what that kind of goes to my argument though, because if it was zone, if it was legal, then they wouldn't have had to disguise it. So they could play it. So they'd be able to do it the entire game.
They did it they would
without having to disguise anything.
That's what I'm saying. They would do it in a bend but not break manner, and they would be able. Because number one, look, they would try to play him straight up, and then, see, we're not even getting to the point that when Jordan broke through whatever they were doing, then they would just, the last resort, they would just clothesline his ass. Okay, after he breaks it, then the last resort is we're gonna get Bill Laimbeer to put Lace some wood, which is something you cannot do in this day and age. You're gonna get a flagrant 17. And yes, I know you're gonna come back with the flagrant foul rule. It was invented to protect Michael Jordan, or among other superstars in the league, because he wasn't the only superstar they were selling. But yes, the flagrant foul rule was meant to where we can't. You know what the flagrant foul? You know what the flagrant foul is? If you watch baseball, it's the answer to the high heat in. When you got Big Papi laying over the thing and he's taking advantage from the pitcher has to throw him some chin music to back him up. Well, if Jordan is going to continuously attack the basket and we cannot physically keep up with him, well, guess what? To keep him from attacking the heart of our defense, we have to give him a hard foul going to the basket, which is something that was legislated out of the game, which is something that LeBron, which is basically his bread and butter, the downhill game, has basically never really, really had to deal with. Yes, I'm sure we're going to pull up a whole medley of his hard fouls he took in 22 years. He took about 17 hard fouls in his entire 22 years.
Okay, so do you really think a dude that's bigger and stronger than Jordan is going to have issues with that? Because he can be physical with those guys too. But go ahead. I'll let you land your plane.
But yeah,
can I ask one question real quick?
Go ahead.
Before we go, would the triangle work against a zone?
It was one of the things that would help. Yeah, I think it was one of the things that helped them. This is what they brought Phil Jackson.
That's all I want to know. That's all I want to
know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But the point is, it's still harder to play against. That's the point. So when you talk about shooting percentages and how guys are shooting, you got to take into account that zone defense is harder to play against. You got to take into account that those shooting percentages are also affected by zone defense, which Jordan,
I agree,
for the majority of his career until he played with the Wizards, did not play against in an open way. Now you're saying they disguised it. I've heard this many times because they didn't call it every time. They don't do that with any rule, as I stated before. But that doesn't mean it was legal. So
let me ask you a question. Did you hear the FYF podcast? The Go James Kingdom last week. He had a brother on there named Rex. He had an old head on there named Rex.
Yeah, I saw Rex. Some of it. Yeah. What about?
Yeah, and one point he made is like rules never change. Rules are in the rule book. You're right about that. But what you get is every preseason you get the referees got a training camp just like the players, and they get memos on what we want to emphasize. So while the rules are there, there's certain things that they want to put the emphasis. They used to call it the point of emphasis. Now they call it the point of education, meaning the rules are the rules, but how we interpret them is different every season. And this is why it's like, you got to understand, from 1980 on, the NBA became an entertainment league. They became a league that wanted to be attractive for television. The television blew up in the Bird and Jordan era, Bird and Magic era, and it took to another level in the Jordan era. So what I'm telling you is, yes, illegal defense rules were in place. It was basically like, again, the high heat in baseball, the high heat warning. Now you got targeting in football. You can't just knock a guy. You can't just knock, like you can't have Lawrence Taylor knocking Joe Montana out the way he did in the 80s. Now you're gonna have roughing the passer. With the illegal defense, you're like those Pistons would do it, and they're gonna dare them to call. Here's what Chuck Daly thought. We'll take a few illegal defenses called on us, just as long as we're able to slow down Jordan from attacking us in the paint. So it would get to the point where no referee is going to sit there and call 15 illegal defenses on a nationally televised game, because it would muck up the game and make it ugly. So again, you can tell me what instance did they play, because the Pistons were going to employ the Jordan rules to stop Jordan. They were going to cut off Jordan's areas of the court. So again, this all comes back to what you said. What happened in that series? I said there was adjustments made. And that when you saw Jordan only take 8 shots, well, he had 18 points in that game, and it was another game where he had 22. Okay, there was no 8-point game there, because this is going back to my LeBron point, right? LeBron has multiple single-digit games in the playoffs, my Brian. He has multiple things. He has multiple 2 for 18s. He has multiple 4 for 18s.
And he played against zone.
And I'm talking about, is he played against the zone? Okay. Well, you know what? If he was a better player, if he had a better skill set, he would have found a way to attack said zones. Again, the 5 versus.
Okay, you can say that.
Who played Dallas?
Dallas? Did they play
zone? Is legal. Everybody plays zone. What you mean?
Jason Kidd. No, what I saw is them switching Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, JJ Barea, and
see, you don't. JJ Barea didn't even guard LeBron. You're talking about an out of context picture or video where they were zoned up. Dirk was in the paint. Tyson Chandler was in the paint. JJ Barea was on the perimeter. He was going to drive the ball, and JJ Barea, I think he knocked the ball out of his hand or something like that. But he was going to drive the ball into what? Tyson Chandler and Dirk, 2 7-footers. Zone.
Why drive? Why not get a pull up? Oh, shout out to Kwame Brown.
Why did that work against him? Why did that work against LeBron?
You said why does that what?
Why did that work against LeBron?
What, zone defense?
Yeah.
Well, you said the JJ Barea with the shadowing the Tyson Chandler and
well, no, he was only on him on one possession.
Okay, and the other times it was Jason Kidd.
Yeah,
you're right. The other times it was Jason Kidd. It was Jason Terry, and it was Deshaun Stevenson. Basically, Carlisle switched all guards to LeBron, and LeBron had no way to attack it. All guys who were 3 to 5 to 5 to 7 to 8, and in JJ Barea's case, 10 whole inches shorter than LeBron. And LeBron
he was on him one time the entire series. Okay, he was not a part of that. Tyson Chandler and Deshaun Stevenson were the main guys.
Okay,
those were the main guys.
Jason Kidd, right?
And Tyson Chandler, Deshaun Stevenson, Jason Kidd.
Okay, a little bit of Jason Terry too.
No, not Jason Terry. See, it's interesting that you bring up Jason Terry, because Jason Terry even went to explain what he saw in that series and why in LeBron performing the way he performed, right? So the strategy wasn't necessarily LeBron guarding Jason Terry. The strategy was make LeBron chase Jason Terry around screens to tire him out. He says game 5, he saw LeBron taking deep breaths, shaking his head, and he was wore out because he didn't have any more left. Now, this is what I mean when I say you don't know the full context of the series. I've done research to back up everything that happened in that series.
Okay.
Backing up with what Mark Cuban said, back it up with Jason Terry said. Now, what I will say is this: if you want to say he didn't perform, he didn't perform. Fine by me. But there are always more instances than you think. LeBron showed up in that series and was like, I'm just going to shoot horrible. I'm just going to score 8 points. I'm not going to do anything. That's the way I word it.
Okay, so you did research, and here's the thing. You did research, and in my opinion, and what I heard is you found all the good excuses for him. And again, Mark Cuban is not going to shit on him.
Hey, hold on, brother. What did I say? I said if you want to say he didn't perform, then say that. Okay, I don't have a problem with you saying that. But
you said no.
But no. Hold on. But when Jordan shoots 8 shots in 46 minutes, what do you say? The defensive schemes. But if LeBron plays bad or he shoots, but I can't say Mark Cuban said this about what LeBron did and why he performed, or what Jason Terry said. I can't say that.
See, what you asked me to explain that Del Jordan games where he still got to over 20 points.
I didn't ask you to explain that. The only reason why I brought it up, I personally don't care about his bad
Because I focus on the
I
negative.
personally don't care. Yeah, that's the only reason why I brought it up. I don't
let's
care.
not have a debate about.
I do not talk about what players perform bad, when they perform bad, because you're talking about a whole career, the totality of their career. If 2011 means he can't be the GOAT, then I'm gonna tell you 2016 means he can. Why? Because he beat the most winning team in NBA history. No, you're gonna let me speak. He beat the most winning team in NBA history. He had a 3-1 comeback versus a 73-win team, and teams were 0-32 all time. This was versus the only unanimous MVP in NBA history. This was versus the best 3-point shooter ever. This was versus Cleveland hadn't won anything in 5 decades, and then he led both teams and all players and everything. So if you're going to tell me that 2011 says, well, he can't be in that discussion, I'm going to tell you 2016, that one series does make him the GOAT.
Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say to that.
Again, but again, that's what. See, here's the thing. Again, I'm gonna tell you because that's not just 2011. I got multiple other. I mean, let's talk about it.
Multiple other that you cherry picked and nitpicked.
Cherry pick. No. These are okay. 77 NBA finals have been played. Right? Do you know the 2 least competitive NBA finals played? The 2 least.
2017 and probably 2007 or something like that. Oh no, 2018 and 2014.
So yeah, 2020. No, it's actually 2018 and 2014.
That's what I said.
And that would be LeBron James being on the losing end.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Go
ahead. Mm-hmm.
What did LeBron put up in those series?
He put up respectable numbers.
Okay.
He put up respectable numbers, but he was outplayed by his counterpart in both series.
Outplayed how? Exactly.
Kawhi Leonard outplayed him. Kawhi Leonard was able to play one-on-one defense.
Kawhi outplayed. No, he did not play one-on-one defense. It was zone.
Was Kawhi Leonard not the Finals MVP?
He was, but that doesn't mean he outplayed him. That means the Spurs won, and he was the reason that he was the main factor to contributing why the Spurs won.
What you're gonna do now is go into counting stats. Do you understand what Kawhi Leonard playing in one-on-one?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? How you justified Jordan losing versus the Celtics and Pistons talking about the numbers he put up. But when I say, okay, you talking about the least competitive series in the finals, but when I'm talking about the numbers, it's an excuse.
Well, I said I said he never had a bad series.
Okay, but he still lost, and you're still trying to lose it against him, right?
No, you know one thing you said that kills me is you said I have no idea in context. And I have plenty idea of context of 2011. I have plenty idea of context.
You really don't.
2014. I really do. You just won't let me explain.
You definitely don't have to. Okay, I will let you explain whatever you want to explain. I'll let you explain it.
See, one thing that happened in 2014 is what Kawhi Leonard playing LeBron straight up did was allow him to not use one of his best strengths was his playmaking. If you look at it, he only had 4 assists a game. And one will say, oh, well, Bosh and Wade didn't play that well. Well, yeah, because they kind of cut off the head of the snake. Yeah, they let LeBron get his numbers. They let LeBron had nice shooting percentage and counting stats, but his effectiveness was rendered very ineffective. It really was. And again, in 2018, LeBron had a wonderful, excellent game 1 of 4 quarters until J.R. Smith made that gaffe. And we all seen him quit in that overtime, bring nothing in that overtime. I don't think Michael Jeffrey Jordan in that overtime would have held his head because they had to play in overtime and basically give you nothing in overtime because a teammate made a gaffe. I brought up when Scottie Pippen gave you nothing in this 2015 1998 finals. Gave you nothing. And Jordan being hounded, going up against a great defender in Byron Russell and Shannon Anderson, had to will the Bulls to greatness. He didn't get much from Scottie Pippen. Coach was his only other gun. Rodman came off the bench. Are you kidding me? Look, again, 2018, Kevin Durant outplayed him. You're going to get me counting stats because this is what LeBron and his fans can do. LeBron will wind up getting great counting stats because guess what? When you're getting blown out, when you're getting blown out, he'll do a great job of getting a couple of layups in the fourth quarter when they're already down
that's a good
19-20.
assessment.
No, I
That's a good assessment.
bring up the blowouts in these finals because LeBron will wind up catching. And see, when you bring up 2016, right, and you say he beat the 72-win Warriors. Remember how I started
73.
my argument? But 73, sorry, 73. I said it's better to be the 72-win team than beat a 73-win. Because basically, what LeBron fans do when they do this, they go off the individual success of the Warriors to then prop up LeBron James. Again, you know what? Let's go to this fact. The 6 finals teams that Jordan played have a better cumulative than the 10 finals team LeBron played. But wait a minute, Jordan didn't play any competition in the finals.
He didn't play teams better than the Spurs or the Warriors, I'll tell you that much.
Yes, he did. Let me tell you something.
Hey, I broke that down on my channel. You could check that out, and if you can debunk that, I'll give you your props.
I would love to bring it. I would love to bring it because that's what 2007 Spurs, the worst version of those 5 championship Spurs teams.
And wasn't he 22?
Hold on. Let me go there. A Michael Finley with a bad ankle. A team that started Bruce Bowen, who couldn't even make the league for 3 years in the 90s.
LeBron 22?
Oh, was he 22? Kobe was 22 when he had 3 rings already.
Who did Kobe have? Shaq?
Oh, that Kobe
name
had
a Shaq.
Shaq.
Name a prime Shaq equivalent on that 2007 Cavs team. Go ahead.
What I'm saying.
Go ahead, Davo. I'll wait.
The fact is that was not a good Spurs team.
I hope casual.
It was better than the Cavs. I'll tell you that much. And he was 22 years old. Was Jordan in the finals at 22?
I agree with that.
No, he wasn't. But see, you're using the excuses about 22.
I'm not using an excuse. I'm using context.
No, you're using context, but you're using it only one way. Again, I said that was the worst Spurs team of the 5 championship teams. Now,
okay, that's fine.
The worst of the 5. You see, you want to say Jordan never played. I'm gonna tell you right now. Tom Chambers being the 7th man of an NBA team, of a team that made the finals. The 1993 Suns were easily as good. I'm gonna tell you this: they were easily as good as the KD Warriors, my dude.
And I'm gonna tell you, smoking crack rock. That's what I'm gonna tell you.
See, let me just. Who did they bring off the bench? You understand how good Tom Chambers was?
Do you understand that Curry and Kevin Durant were the 2nd and 3rd best players in the world? And they were in their prime when they joined forces.
And that team almost got beat by James Harden, a perennial playoff choker.
Do you?
Since we doing that,
okay. Since we doing that, we could talk about in 1986 when Jordan got swept by the Celtics. He was 23 years old, right? Hakeem Olajuwon took that same team 6 games at the same age, 23 years old, right?
Hakeem Olajuwon and Otis Thorpe. And wait, you said Hakeem Olajuwon took the
same Celtics that swept Jordan at age 23. Hakeem Olajuwon took them 6 games at age 23.
You understand?
Now it's about matchups and who you got on your team.
It's about who you have. Yes, it is about who you have, sir.
Oh, but if I say that, then that's an excuse.
No, wait, no. Because you gotta understand. Not only in 07 was the worst team he ever played. The worst of the Spurs championship teams. Again, you're talking about they started 3 guys who couldn't even. Who, if Jordan had to play against,
which team was better? Which team was better?
Which team was
better? The
Spurs
or the Cavs? Which team was better in the 07 finals? The Spurs or the Cavs?
I would say Spurs were a better team, but were they sweep better? No. Were they sweep better? Were they sweep better? Did Vegas have Spurs sweep as the number 1 betting option? Like you can bet sweep. Spurs in 5, Spurs in 6, Spurs in 7, Cavs in 5.
I really don't care if they had them bet as that. He was 22 years old in the finals, and you're talking about what he didn't do versus a dynasty. Wasn't Jordan a first round exit at the same? Jordan was a first round exit versus the Bucks at 22.
You're right. He was a first round exit versus the Bucks, a superior team.
Okay,
and a gentleman's sweep.
What's your point?
Superior team. You're talking about the Cavs and the difference between the Cavs and
the difference is LeBron got them to the finals.
The team got them to the final. Because let's go back and look. If you want to cherry pick numbers, let's go look at the shooting percentages of LeBron. Go just pull up LeBron's playoff game log. More than half those series games, I think he shot under 40%. There were games. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. That famous.
You know what we can do. You know what we can do. Because this is it's 2 hours in. I got things that I got to do. I will invite you to come onto my panel and we can talk about this because you seem to think that you're going to out debate me or you know more than me or no, it's not happening. So what we can do, I can invite you on my panel and we can talk about
it. Anytime.
Okay. Well, real quick, Sports Talk. I have, I purchased StreamYard so we can simulcast it on here. Would you like to do that? Would you like to set that up?
Well, I mean, at some point, yeah, but I'm pretty busy, dude. So.
Yeah, listen, bro. No, and I forgot you had things going on, man. Listen, life, bro. Yeah. Take care of what you got to do. I didn't even come to turn up like this, man. I mean, but it does get fascinating.
I enjoy this.
Listen, man. Listen, I respect your opinion. And this and the third.
I'm not taking it personal or nothing like that. I give you.
Yeah, no doubt. All respect, bro. Listen, we can. This is barbershop talk, man. We would do this if we was in the same barbershop right there. It might get lit like, it is what it is, bro. But listen, all-time greats. I do have LeBron James is great. Again, like I said, because that's when I judge things. I do judge the highs and the lows. And when you have a certain amount of lows and the famous, that's when I'm going to dock you. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm never going to ever say, and this is just my part and shot here, I'm never going to say LeBron is not clutch. But he's not always clutch, put it that way. And so, listen, LeBron James has the 4 titles. He has the 4 finals MVPs. He is one of the greatest of all time. I do top 10. There's a lot of LeBron James haters who won't even put him in there. And I do have him in my top 5 you saw from the beginning of the show. But again, that's because my top 5 I grade hard. So, and I put a lot of historical perspective into it. So there you go.
And that's perfectly fine. And we appreciate you coming on and give us your top 5 all time and your top 5 playoff performers. As always, Sports Talk, he's part of the family. We're gonna get you that hoodie when we get a chance. I got the hoodies over in the corner right now. But I just thank you guys for showing up. I know it's been 2 hours. I had a lot of technical difficulties, and I appreciate you guys holding it down while I was struggling with my Spectrum internet.
Be safe out there, man. I hope y'all don't get too much. I don't. What state are you in? I don't.
I'm in North Carolina, so we're
North Carolina. My mom's down in North Carolina, so yeah.
Okay.
My mom's outside of Greensboro, so yes, I know.
I'm in Greensboro,
and I know it's coming up here to New York, so
Okay, yeah. So that's going on outside right now. But like we said, if we can set up, if you guys wanted to do a little debate, I've been thinking about doing this on the channel. We will set it up so you guys can do that on this channel and Sports Talk's channel. Also check out Sports Talk's channel. A lot of good stuff on there. He breaks stuff down. As you heard tonight, he's got the information.
Listen, you good with the research. I respect it.
Yeah,
I respect it. But my thing is, I always got a rebuttal, bro. I always rebuttal. So it is what it is, and that's why
I got rebuttals for everything that you can say.
I feel you. Numbers don't lie. You're right. Numbers don't lie.
Does his research?
Now, I'm not even trying to be like, what do you call it, arrogant, but I just see things a certain way.
I'm gonna just forewarn you. When you use numbers to make an argument, I think you gotta make an argument and find the numbers to support your point. Because if you don't do that, I'm gonna cook you. And I'm just let you know that's not me being arrogant. That's just my debate style. I find points, then I support them with numbers. Gotta make.
I mean,
I
I can make
numbers to make points.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Here we go.
Well, that is a
But
But
future.
my brain is like a ticking what do you call it? Not a ticking time bomb, but it's like a clock.
So,
I got you. Listen, I respect you. You're formidable. I'm not gonna lie.
And here's what I'm saying. I don't even. This is why I said I don't want to sound arrogant. It's not even just about sports. Like in life, I'm a very intelligent dude. Like my brain is insane. That's why I say that. And I learned that by applying it to something that was less, which was basketball. But in life, like in general, it's pretty, you could talk to me about anything and it'll be a hard time with me. I don't know if you could tell that just by talking to me, but
I feel you. Listen, I'm one of you heard me say it right. I have the memory of an elephant. That's why I'm able to cook Lamont on his channel because he'll make a point and don't even realize where you contradict himself.
But I ain't Lamont. I'll cook Lamont too.
Listen,
okay,
one day we cook them together.
Say this. January 24th, if both of you guys can make it, we're gonna have the debate.
All right.
Okay.
I'll pencil that in.
Y'all cool with that?
I'll make sure. I'll try. I'll be having a lot of things going on and stuff. So
yeah,
I'll try to make sure or try to see. But if I can't make it, I'll make sure I'll make it.
And we'll simulcast it onto your channel so we can, you can get reap the benefits of all of it.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm gonna put your link both you guys' channels on the page. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. 2 hours in, we went through 5 playoff players, and then it got interesting. But appreciate you guys showing up tonight and dealing with my crazy technical difficulties and staying with it the whole time. I thought it was a good talk. It was some good back and forth
for sure
for everybody.
For sure, man. For sure.
Yeah.
Salute, guys. Y'all have a good night, man. I gotta.
All right. Thanks for showing up. Thank you.
All right.
No doubt.
And okay, in sports talk, like I said, we're gonna get you that hoodie. We're gonna, get you. We got some merch. We're gonna start, trying to up our game a little bit with the show, and we're definitely gonna push your channel. We're gonna get everybody going as much as we can. I appreciate you showing up. Always a wealth of knowledge. I took you away from the
yeah. All right, look, I already knew what time it was gonna be. As soon as he started talking about LeBron, I was like, man, here we go. But see, I
thought Big Nige might show up.
It's just not. That's why I don't really go on have these kind of. Did you freeze up? Oh, I thought you froze up. Nah, I just
no.
It's just pretty easy for me to retain the information that I retain. So it's like on the fly. So it's kind of like when you say something and trust and hear what I'm saying. I've heard every argument against why LeBron can't be the GOAT. So I know how to counter every single argument. So at this point, it's gotten to the point where I kind of don't want to give away one of my secrets, but this is when I knew it was on a different level. I debated ChatGPT about it. I debated ChatGPT about it, and ChatGPT was like, they got nothing else to say.
Oh wow!
So that's when I was like, yeah, if you ain't really nice like that, you stand no chance.
Okay. Well, we gonna set up. Hopefully, you'll be. I know work is crazy and stuff like that. But we'll try to set it up. I will. Like I said, I'm gonna get with you and we'll simulcast it. So, we can all reap the benefits from it. But I think you guys went back and forth. And I thought it was really good. So let's go full throttle. Let's go debate. So maybe on the 24th, which is when we will come back to GOAT Talk only. We'll have my man Sports Talk.
If things work out, hopefully.
Yeah, if everything works out, we'll have my man Sports Talk and King Speech, and we'll see where it goes. We'll hopefully I can line up some people to come in and just judge everything going on. But I thought it was an interesting night tonight. Appreciate you, like I said again, appreciate you showing up, and we knew what was going to be, and glad it was cordial, I thought.
Yeah, no, like I got respect for him. I ain't, it's just basketball talk. But the thing is, like, people just think that I haven't met anyone that could defeat me in a debate about this particular thing.
So Sports Talk said it here. He's undefeated. He is going to defeat.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying it in that way because I haven't even like been on live panels and did debates. What I'm saying is if we're gonna have that conversation, I think I know too much to even. You're gonna have to really know something else. Like unless you can debate ChatGPT and win that debate, then you don't stand a chance against me. That's just all I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, I mean, talk it. That's all I got to say. I've never defeated ChatGPT, so I can't say I've done that.
I don't think. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think nobody can. I can.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. There you go.
I mean, hey, and I could prove that. I could back that up too. That's not just something I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're gonna show and prove, and I'm not going to debate you. I'll say that.
I know that. No, you see, I appreciate that fact that you reached out to me and all that. I'm not, you one of the only Jordan fans I really like that, honestly. For the most part. I'm a
likable Jordan fan, so
yeah.
I'm not. Even though I'm no.
I don't see that way. I don't see that way. No.
Okay.
That's why. I mean, if I did, I wouldn't be, coming on your channel and all that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate. We always appreciate you. Being Big Nige, we always enjoy you coming on and just extending your knowledge to us and to the people watching. So yeah, you're always welcome here, and you're part of the crew. So I have, even though I'm a Jordan fan, I have no, I do have a dog in the fight, but I enjoy just basketball talk. So I don't care who comes on here, as long as you know basketball. I don't, it's not like we're enemies. We're cool because we know basketball and we enjoy it. So that's all I care about. I don't care about the other stuff. So so hopefully in a couple of weeks we may have that debate. We'll and we still are going to do what we talked about, the top 5 performances. We did the performers tonight.
I know we got to do top 10 because only reason why I didn't do top 10 playoff performers is because it was kind of too long of a list and I didn't really
Okay.
But we could do the top 10 performances for sure.
Yeah. And we will definitely do that. And I will try to get my man Big Nige. I don't know if he's in here now. If you're in here, Big Nige, let us know. But I don't know if he's in here because he said he would be a game time decision, and obviously game time. He's Zion tonight. He got suspended. But but yeah, again, we appreciate you coming on. We're 2 hours in, and we're going to go ahead and cut it tonight. But we will be back soon. If you guys enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. We do appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. We're trying to grow bigger. And for everybody that joins this panel, we're trying to get everybody, going to where they need to be. So with that said, we're going to
see you later,
cut
man.
it off. Yeah. So you have a good night, man.
You too.
All right. See in this